Hello, Targar friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. It's time for another Orc Mode workout, and today was Dynamic Effort Bench Press Day. Felt a little slow today, but I did a couple things slightly different. I felt like the 80 pounds of band tension was really slightly under what I needed to be doing, so I went up to 95. And with this being the heaviest day on the bar this week in my wave, and yes, I know the little red band, for some reason it doesn't have tension there. Should have been fine. Should have been fine, but it's not. At least the green one's good. But I'm not going to sweat it. That's only 30 pounds of my total tension, and I have it in a lockout. But the bar moved a little slower than I might want. And yeah, I'm laughing at the band because I haven't seen this footage yet. I'm just now voicing over it as I'm looking at it for the first time on my software. So back to the point. Let me try to continue without laughing about the red band flopping. But a little slower than I'd like by comparison, but this is the heaviest week in the wave. I increased the band tension slightly also, so it's going to be a hair slower, and next week we drop down. It's going to be, again, 10% less of my max starting. So it's going to be obviously less weight on the bar, and we're going to be running chains instead of bands. So it's all good. Not that worried about it. Like I said, it's a little slower than I'd like, and it takes me several sets to get into it, which is one reason I really like doing at least 10 sets of speed work with keeping the reps as low as possible to do that. So like 10 by 3 on this, 2 by 12 on the squats. The squats seem to need more total sets to get warmed up than the bench does. And I'm going to make some adjustments and stuff with my sumo technique tomorrow on the speed pulls. I'm going to see if I can learn to just grip and rip with the hook grip, right? I know, right? People are going to be like, yeah, this is going to end badly. Don't worry about it, guys. But on a side note, you know, people are kind of saying, oh, you're just playing with this conjugate and I don't like it. And you said at a certain point you didn't like it. Well, I think we forget that I've had my own biases a few years ago, had my own stuff going on. And I think people also forget that I built my base on this system again. People say, what? Yeah, I built my base running this system. When I was running conjugate before, you guys saw me squat 470 beltless. Beltless. You guys saw me like trap bar deadlift 600 pounds on a low handle trap bar. All that stuff running conjugate, and I'd only been lifting again for 2 years. And if you go look at my Facebook page, I linked my old bag twist video, the trolling video I made 6 years ago, where some of those lifts were just thrown in there for fun. And I'm moving some pretty big weight on these assistance movements. It was some pretty big weight. Yeah, I am fatter and heavier. I'm like 20 pounds heavier than I am now there, and with a higher body fat and less muscle. But I'm still running the system back then. I rebuilt my base to that. I got up into the raw beltless 400s on the squat while running this system. And I used box squats to rebuild my squat. Which is why I'm not worried about it. People are kind of like, well, you're box squatting over 500. What's your back squat? I don't know, don't care. Because I was squatting like 470 beltless for reps after having used the box squat to rebuild my squat before. And I can box squat now more than I could back then. I'm like 50 pounds heavier. So I'm not that worried. Ride it out. Keep getting stronger. And I think people are going to laugh at some of the goofy stuff I might do as far as my different max effort lifts. I'm going to get to a point to where as long as I kind of do roughly what I want with it, some of it's going to be really random. Like I'm literally not opposed to just coming in and saying, okay, what do I want to do today? What sounds good? I don't know, dead squats with a safety squat bar out of the bottom. I'm going to max on that because it's a max squat day. Max deadlift days can be the same sort of stuff. As long as I'm not replicating the same lift so often that I can't PR on it, it's not going to matter. I think people forget that with the max work, so that they understand it. Max effort work is not about training technique. This speed work trains your actual technique on these lifts, actually. Just where the real tech comes from. Or you can go practice the classic lifts a little bit. Max effort work is to teach you how to get maximally strong against awkward objects. Right? The whole purpose of the max effort training is to get strong. To learn the skill of max lifting to a max, because it's a skill. And if you do 40 different exercises, you're going to have to learn how to max all of them, because you learn on the ramp up. You have to learn each new exercise every day. You're just learning how to max out all the time. And you know what? It means you'll have to learn how to max out when you get under the classic lift too, because it's all the same. Power lifts are not technical lifts. They're just a measurement of brute strength. That is all they are. You will get through amazing, beautiful, championship winning technique versus just potatoing your way through it is like a 10% difference. So someone who's an elite, ultra awesome squatter for their body weight and can squat 550, they could potato squat 500. Guy who can bench 500 with beautiful technique could probably bench 450 with flat back and closed grip and forgetting what bar path he's supposed to use. Okay, he could just lay flat back probably with a closed grip and no leg drive and just potato press 450. So people need to understand the difference. They're not technical lifts. Powerlifting is nothing but a measurement of strength. So like Conjugate really isn't a powerlifting system. It's just a max strength and max explosiveness and max athletic system. So over to the point. Speed work was done. It was good. 10 sets, 3 heaviest week in the wave. And we're doing the standing football bar press. Again, just a nice awkward lift. People are like, why aren't you locking? Because it's an awkward exercise. I have that old bicep injury. I can't lock this barbell. I can't do it with the empty barbell. And yes, I do mobility work. It just is what it is, especially not with that grip. But you know what? It still works my shoulder girdle and the upper chest involvement because of the way the position it puts you in is so much more pronounced than I feel with a straight bar. So what does that do? That makes this an amazing bench press accessory and just general pressing accessory because it's safe. There's no elbow strain, no shoulder strain because of the position of it. Yes, it makes it harder to lock out. It means it might not be the best trapezius and rear delt exercise. But you know what? I do like 500 chin-ups every week. I do 500 chin-ups every week. I think my mid-traps and all, I think they'll be fine. I think my rear delts will get plenty of growth from all that. Because, I mean, my traps are just suffering so badly. But, I mean, yeah, the lockout on the straight bar press is one of the best trap exercises in the entire world for the upper traps. But this, I'm just doing this for general pressing with a nice awkward lift that's hard, that really seems to hit those areas super hard for a bunch of volume. Okay, so it's just hypertrophy training for those areas with a big old awkward lift that makes me work hard. And that's what I'm doing. Everyone's like, man, you're doing a lot of sets of 10. Yep. Because why do we need anything else? Max work should be heavy, right? Your max work should be heavy. Your speed work should be explosive. But I also don't do reps on big lifts. Why? Why do we need reps on your big lifts? Even assistance movements. If something is an assistance exercise for your big lifts, anything you're going to max on, why would you ever do reps on it? What's the point? I'm serious about that. If someone says, oh, a safety bar squat really helps your squat, it'll also really help your deadlift. Well, why are you doing reps on it? Are you trying to increase your 5 rep max? Because that's what that's going to do. If it's an assistance movements, max out on it. So that's what we do in the system. We max on a couple of assistance lifts every week unless we happen to pick the classic lift. Because if you get maximally strong at assistance lifts, they transfer to your main lift. Speed work is fast for large amounts of volume with 1 to 3 reps, right? All this supplemental stuff is here to just make you thick. It's to take all the muscles that are not growing adequately from the speed work, because it's hypertrophic, or the max work, and to get them as thick as possible. Well, what's the most efficient way to get thick and the easiest way to recover? Do a bunch of sets of 10 with fairly short breaks. Do we really care about the total tension? No, as long as we're progressing. And I progressed on these today, the JM floor presses. You know what? I went up because I had added that microplate last time to just basically put, 2.5 pounds on. Well, I jumped it to 10, put a 5 on a set each side. So I'm doing these as 145. And they were tougher, especially since I did most of them paused at the bottom. They were harder, but I'm progressing. So I only did 5 sets of 10, but you know what? These were challenging. These were challenging. I feel like I need to make a tutorial on these two. I'm going to start doing more of those tutorials. These were challenging, and I felt my triceps. And no, it's not the same tricep feeling I got from those other movements. With this, it's not a pump. It's not also the cramp you get from a stretch reflex or any of that, right? Because we kind of get that from the speed bench with the bands. No, this is just, it just feels like that whole medial head of the tricep. It feels like you just kind of hit hit it with a hammer, right? Because it's just its explosiveness. And the reason I'm doing these is that what do we know? We know that, yeah, I need to keep building my triceps. My tricep size isn't good, but we know that my triceps are no longer the weak link in my pressing. Now, I need them to keep growing, so I need to do tricep work, right? But I don't need to do a single joint type exercise. I need my triceps to keep growing, but in a way that's going to be explosive in the bottom of my pressing. It's going to work the other muscles. My front delts and my pecs are my limiting pressing muscles. So for my tricep specific stuff, I want an exercise that hits them hard, and I want an exercise that makes me powerful at the bottom of the bench, even for my tricep work. Because if my triceps can fire harder at the bottom along with my pecs, my bench will go up. And this fits the bill, because that dead stop from the bottom puts the triceps into the same position they're in on a bench in terms of tension, but forces you then to go to a dead stop. That dead stop on the floor, and then that drive, you have to just explode with those triceps. And then it hits the front delts. In fact, it almost hurts your front delts if you don't do this correctly. It's all about that tuck, and you got to get those scapula pulled in. Get that deep tuck, and you just explode. Explode as hard as you can. And so again, training these really, really hard, just like the press. I had to rest pause some of those to get to my target numbers, but I got them. See right there, that kind of, there's a little slip there. You got to watch that the bar will roll sometimes on you if you're not careful. So again, training these as hard as possible, trying to progress on them. Now on the barbell presses or the football bar presses, yeah, I have to do rest pause. I've got to just push through it. With these, I'm able to keep adding weight right now. So I'm going to get as strong as possible at this. I need the tricep size. I need the tricep strength. But it's in one that gives me the power from the bottom and includes my other muscles that are potentially a weak link on my pressing. I need all the chest work I can get. One reason I'm doing so many dips. But today's workout was good. Everything went as planned. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.